Very strange photographs. Very strange.
Hi, it's time for some brass facts. Ah, God, I just said that. Anyways, in this segment, I'm trying out a series called Stock to Stack, where I take a basically stock rifle and take you through my journey over several videos, learning the platform, trying out new parts and accessories, and doing whatever it takes to make the rifle suit me, and hopefully improve performance. At the end, I'll do a build video covering the rifle as a whole. Remember, this isn't a review, more following me throughout the process. Up first is the AK. This is a Romanian WASR 10, and I got it used. With all the parts you see so far, I've basically done no changes. It's worth noting at this point this AK isn't exactly stock. It has an aftermarket stock, a TWS dust rail cover, a Ultimac rail, some Hogue furniture, a G2 trigger, and I think that's about it. So of course I picked a mostly modified AK for my first stock to stack video. Alright, about 400 rounds in, let's check in so far. First thing I noticed was the recoil. I ain't shooting 5.56 anymore. While it's not exactly a lot, I want to run it as fast as I do my 5.56 rifles, so a lot of misses as I learn the much heavier, almost two-stage-like recoil or impulse of the rifle, as it tends to rock back and forth. Second thing, while the recoil was a blast and the authority I was hitting those steel targets with was awesome compared to 5.56, the low sights had me mashing my cheekbone into this thin stock. Combined with the fact that the AKs tend to get ridiculously hot, even unsuppressed, I found shooting the AK was kind of a full body experience. My cheek kind of still hurts. So after a slightly toasted hand and a sore cheekbone, I threw an optic on, which just gave me enough height to avoid the cheekbone issue. And gloves, which were starting to migrate out of my shooting kit, are now considered mandatory when running this guy. Like this, I don't really have any issues. The reloads were also a blast. Something about kicking out mags and racking back that big old charging handle is way more fun than the almost clinical AR reloads. So while ARs are much more fast and accurate for me, and I get faster times, the AK is way more fun. That being said, let's head on inside and kind of go over my plans I have for this rifle. As mentioned, this isn't quite a stock AK, but there's still a lot I want to do to it, at least in this first stage. I'm going to take it slow, as the AK isn't in my rotation, and I don't really mind doing several parts at a time and stuff all of the stuff at once. Ignore the flashlight. I had it lying around, so I put it on so I can do evening shoots, and it serves as a functional alternative until I throw something brighter on there. It's a 200 lumen Surefire, if I recall correctly. So the first thing I'm going to do is for sure the optics. The low iron sights combined with the straight stock isn't really that much fun to shoot. Optics first on the list. And for a sling, for now I'll borrow a sling from a different setup, and if I end up liking this sling on an AK, I'll buy a second one for this rifle. Probably a VTAC or a VCAS, depending on what I'm feeling. And that's it for now. The optic and the sling will let me run the rifle a lot more akin to how I normally run stuff, and from there I can further decide on what I want to do and change how the rifle handles. For example, I'm kind of eyeing a new compensator, maybe a new stock, longer grip up front, maybe even an ALG trigger. But first, I want to get some time behind this gun. As for the optic, I'm kind of on the fence about what I was going to get. Initially, I wanted to get an acro, but I don't really want to deal with that battery life on a rifle. I was really enjoying running the low micro dot that you see me borrow quickly for some of the shots in this video. Right now, I'm kind of between a 507C, which is the Holosun RMR clone, and the Holosun 403, which is like the Aimpoint Holosun clone. However, it kind of comes in at a price point that has me slightly worried. The 403 comes in at about $170. That being said, I'm going to try out the 403 because it has a closed emitter. I've had one too many times where I'm shooting my RMR out in the rain and the whole thing becomes useless because water gets on the opened emitter until I find a Q-tip to wipe the whole thing down. So while that's fine on a pistol, which lives most of its life in a holster until it's time to roll, it's not something I want to deal with on a rifle-mounted optic. This will also let me see kind of how far Holosun's QC has come as I run the 403 on the rifle. I've heard great things about the 507C, so I have hope that the 403 Holosun will do well as well. So that's it so far. This is part one of potentially several videos coming up on my journey through using the AK through the stock to stack series and how I deck it out over time. Once again, this isn't a review. I'm not reviewing the AK as a viable option, and I'm not reviewing the parts I put on it. I'll have different videos for that if I do that. And anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around.
Too much power.